Welcome to The Heart of Health Live. There's a place for modern medicine in your life. Learn to use it correctly by getting your toughest questions answered on today's broadcast. Discover modern medicine's strengths and weaknesses. Lifestyle medicine opens the door to optimum health and healing. How you live and what you eat can profoundly affect mind and body. Learn simple solutions to complex problems. God provides the ultimate healing we all desire. He wants us healthy and happy. We just need to understand His plan for our lives and live accordingly. And now, live from Studio 1A in Chattanooga, Tennessee, here's your Heart of Health host, Dr. James Marcum.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad you took the time to join us on Heart of Health Live, where you are the program. And by that, I mean if you want to call in and interact with our guest, if you can get on the phones early, our phone number is 855-644-3278. One of my most special health professionals is here with us to answer your questions, and that's Alan Lewis. And Alan Lewis works with people, and he changes their chemistry by getting them to exercise. Did you realize that there's many ways to change your chemistry? And if you look at all the chronic disease we have, diabetes, heart disease, many types of chronic joint problems, exercise is a key way of getting us better. When we exercise on a regular basis, we make a host of good chemicals that help our body do better. So we're going to talk specifically about exercise, movement programs, chronic disease. Alan's going to share some of the great things he's doing and some of the things he's learning. I learned just recently that exercise might even be able to help our minds, our brains do better. Hey, well, it makes sense. If our blood pumps better, we take oxygen everywhere, we lower our blood pressure, that can't be all bad. So we want to invite you to call in tonight, 855-644-3278, and specifically questions about exercise. I like to call it movement. All those things we'll talk about tonight. And if you have a specific question, Alan's going to help minister to your needs, help you get in better health so maybe you don't have to take a medicine or have some type of chronic illness in the future. If you want to be a Facebook friend, you can join us on Facebook. We have a special there for my new book, which is Medicines That Kill, which is coming out in February. You can join us there. Also, I want to encourage you to go to our website. That's heartwiseministries.org. We're so glad you joined us, and right after this break, we're going to come back with Alan Lewis. We want to answer your questions. Give us a call, 855-644-3278.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minutes. Are you pregnant or thinking of becoming pregnant? Do you want to ensure your child will have the healthiest brain possible? Then avoid all alcohol, because as little as 1 glass of wine per week alters brain development and is associated with behavior and emotion problems. Avoid smoking. Children born to mothers who smoked had higher rates of learning and behavior problems and psychotic disorders. Take omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s promote healthy brains and higher IQ. And watch out for depression. Untreated depression is associated with delayed fetal growth and altered brain development. However, antidepressants can increase miscarriage rates, contribute to smaller fetal heads, and slow growth in the newborn. If depressed, consider transcranial magnetic stimulation, the only FDA-cleared, drug-free treatment for depression with no risk to the fetus. To be smart requires a healthy brain, so be smart, do right, and make your child bright.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't, because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's 1 every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org.
Imagine a classroom with no boundaries. A classroom where reenacting a book is an English class, and repairing a motor is a math lesson. A classroom where caring for horses is biology. This is our classroom. At Bachman Academy, 6th to 12th graders with ADHD, dyslexia, and other language-based learning differences are provided a language-rich, hands-on program of study. With an average of 5 students per teacher, Bachman students receive more attention and have more time to learn while using their own learning strengths. Now, imagine your child in this classroom. To learn more about Bachman Academy, visit our website at www.bachmanacademy.org. Bachman Academy, tapping potential one person at a time.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We're glad you're here. We're on Heart of Health Live. Our phone number, if you want to be part of the program, ask a question, is 855-644-3278. And if you've watched us before, you know if you jump in early, that's your best chance of getting on with us live. And if you don't, you can, if you're too shy to talk, you can always leave a question with one of our callers, or you can go to the website and also leave a question, because we want to serve you. Heart of Health is a program that we're not trying to sell a product. We're not trying to get you to have anything but just good medical knowledge that might make you feel better. We also want to give you hope. We want to give you hope that no matter where you're at in your healthcare journey, there's a God that can help you, maybe learn something that makes you feel better. Maybe we can help you manage your medicines better, but we want to be there for you. We're with today, Alan Lewis. Alan, thanks for joining us.
Oh, what a great privilege it is to be here.
Yeah.
This is just a fun opportunity.
Good. And I know you're very passionate about what you do. So why don't you tell our audience exactly what you do and how you got involved in this as a career in changing people's chemistry in this way?
Well, in my present position, I'm the director of the cardiopulmonary rehab program at Memorial Hospital here in Chattanooga. And what I do is I work with patients. We start in the hospital when they've had surgery, they've had a heart event, they've had maybe a stent, a valve repair, replacement, significant surgery.
Right.
And the most important thing we've learned from years of experience in hospitals, the most important thing is to get up and start moving again after a major surgery.
Right.
Whereas before we said stay in bed, don't get out, don't hurt yourself. And so if a surgical patient can get up and move,
Right.
so can somebody just sitting on a couch that's not moving. I've learned from 20 years of being a clinical exercise physiologist, and previous to that, like yourself, I was a teacher and a coach, and I found from my own experience that people love to move.
Right.
They just don't always know how to do it. And it's also about relationships. Building relationships with people is even more important than the movement itself.
Right.
The relationship is what builds the trust, because teaching somebody how to get up and start moving, when they don't trust you, doesn't work.
So you've worked with patients that are tough to deal with, right?
Oh, yes, yes.
So in your career, you've worked with every type of patient.
Every kind of patient.
So there's no one out there that would probably fit in a category that he can't answer a question. And speaking of that, our first question is, and unfortunately I can't read the name, it's a little bit too small on my screen, but welcome to Heart of Health Live, you're on. Hello, are you there? Okay, someone might not be there, but hopefully they will come back in a few seconds. Can someone read that small print to me on the bottom? What's that small print? Betty? Betty, are you with us? Alan's here ready to answer your question.
Yes, hello, I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead, Betty. You're on with Alan.
Yes, I was wanting to know about exercise and osteoporosis. I exercise a lot, twice a day actually, and we're very busy in the summertime doing yard maintenance and stuff. And I am 74 years old, but I do have osteoporosis, and not knowing why yet, but I was wanting to know how can that help osteoporosis.
Good question, Betty. Thanks for calling in. First, you sound very spunky. You sound like a really young for your age, and good for you. And the fact that you're staying active. Osteoporosis affects different people at different times in their life. We don't always know why it happens earlier with others, but we know this. The best treatment for loss of bone is movement.
Uh-huh.
And we also know that osteoporosis is site-specific. So the big mistake people make is they exercise their body from their hips down. They do a lot of walking. They don't do anything with their upper body. And you see, especially in women, you see them as they age, their legs still look good and strong, but they start bending over at their shoulders and neck because they haven't maintained their bone structure.
Right.
Bones
Well,
are you've got to do upper body work. Gardening is a good example of doing upper body work. Okay. Sometimes, though, you need maybe an expert to work with somebody briefly to show you specific exercise, how to really use your entire body, because we were made to move upper and lower body, not just lower body. The stress of the pull of the muscles on the bones is what stimulates bone growth. Probably one of the best exercise overall is water exercise, using upper and body, leg and arm movement, the resistance of the water, especially if you're starting to have a lot of problems with your joints or the osteoporosis. But it sounds like to me you're highly motivated. You just maybe need to take on some new activities that you haven't explored.
Okay. Let me ask you this. I'll tell you this. I am very, very careful, very aware all the time of making sure my shoulders are worked so that they're strong and pulled back, so I don't get the hump in the upper body. And so I do that. I work that all the time. I mean, that's one of my main things is to do that. Of course, I do the whole body.
Good for you. Also, I didn't mention, work on your flexibility because as we age, we lose flexibility, and as we lose range of motion, we tend not to work as well and as efficiently, and that can also accelerate the osteoporosis because we tend to do less and less because we're limited by our flexibility, especially in our shoulders.
Sure.
So you need to explore some specific flexibility exercises for your upper body and shoulders.
Okay. Okay, that sounds really, really good. I just want to make sure I was on the right track here.
Oh, I hope I'm doing what you're doing when I'm your age. I've got a few more years to go, but I'm inspired by you.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Keep up the good work, Rose.
Thank you. Just thank you for your program.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, it looks like Rose was calling from Colorado, so I hope it's not too cold out there.
What a great place to be.
Okay. We have a question that's come into our website, and it says, I know exercise is important, but it bores me to death. Exercise bores me to death. What do you suggest? So what can a person that...
Very common that I hear this from people. It's probably the regimented exercise on the bike, on the treadmill, that just it's not attractive to everybody. But our bodies are designed to move. Mm-hmm. So we have to explore different ways of moving. So if the regimented exercise is not the right thing for us, maybe we need to join a hiking club, go on hikes. I mean, I don't know where that question came from, but we live in a beautiful country, and there's many places where you can go hiking, and there's hiking clubs and hiking trails. There's also, I don't know the age, but riding on bike trails is a great form of movement, and you're outside, the fresh air, depending on the time of the year. Probably the other thing that's really interesting, a recent study showed that the activity or movement that's best affects and avoids or reduces the incidence of Alzheimer's is dance.
Really?
Dance.
Wow.
When we think of exercise, we're moving in the same pattern, in the same direction.
Right.
We're repeating the same movement pattern. When you're doing dancing, you're constantly changing the movement pattern, moving from side to side, forward and back, helping your balance, but also stimulating your brain in so many different ways. So many different pathways are stimulated. The best way to reduce the effect of Alzheimer's or avoid it is to be involved in dance, which is a great form of exercise. Now, I love to dance. I'm not just an exercise person. I'm also love to dance, involved in different dance groups, and variety is what's important. But I also know that if I want to be really successful at doing something, I have to do something before to get myself ready for it. Mm-hmm. So there may be a time where a specific exercise regimen once or twice a week would really help.
Okay, well that's great. That is so interesting about dance. Dance has probably been around longer than treadmills and more than jogging.
Yes.
So it's been around for a long time. I hope you're getting your questions answered. Give us a call, 855-644-3278. After the break, we're going to be back from Rose. So Rose, hang on with us for a few seconds longer. We want to encourage people to be one of our Facebook friends. That's where you can keep in touch with our ministry. There's a special about my new book there that you can see on Facebook. You can also join us on our website, heartwiseministries.org, and invite your friends to come in. I'm going to move throughout break, and I'm going to move till we get back, and I want to encourage you to do the same until we come right back with Alan Lewis.
Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org.
I'd like to think that one day, when we get to heaven, we're going to see a list of people like Jared and Susan, who were introduced to Jesus because of something we said. Or maybe it was as simple as a passing smile. But these people will look into their past and be able to say, I'm here because of you. Recently, you may have heard that Heartwise Ministries has begun spreading the gospel to the young, the old, the sick, and the healthy using this very television program. But we need your help. We want to take this type of medical programming to the non-believer and the person who has closed themselves off to traditional forms of outreach. If you believe as we do and want to support Heartwise so that together we can count more names on the tree of life, please consider donating today at heartwiseministries.org. That's heartwiseministries.org.
There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance, when to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing?
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
I hope everyone was moving throughout their break. Keep those bones and muscles. I was lowering my risk of osteoporosis, changing my chemistry. I would rather do that at my age than take a pill. Rose, you're on with Alan Lewis. What's your question or comment?
Yes, 4.5 years ago, my doctor in Florida, I live here in Tennessee now, put me on an allergy asthma medication that had steroids in it. I was on it for a year, and my medical records say do not minister any medication with steroids because I have allergic reactions to it, and my body does not relate well. What happened was I'm 5 feet tall. In that year's time, I went in weight over 300 pounds. Now I'm down to 172.
Wow.
And it's been sitting there since. I do a lot of exercise. I do treadmill, abs machine, those exercise balls. I do a lot of video things. I work out in the yard, push my own lawnmower, all of those kind of things. And but I cannot get back to where I was. And I don't know what to do. I eat right. I know that. I'm a vegan, a cautious vegan. I watch everything that goes into my body. And but I can't get below this 172 pounds.
Okay, we're going to let Alan.
Where I used to be.
Yeah.
Well, first, Rose, I applaud you that you even got that much weight off after gaining that much weight. That's a real challenge. And I don't know what your medical condition was completely that you need to be on those steroids. I assume now that you're off the steroids, you know, there's some chemistry that can change as a result of long-term use of steroids that doesn't always reverse.
Right.
And there's also the aging process. But I think one of the things I would suggest to you is that stress, the stress of thinking about, I can't get this weight off. That kind of stress in itself may be can be affecting your metabolism, because your cortisol, it's called the vigilance response. You're constantly focusing day in and day out on something that's really bothering you. And what I suggest is change your goal and look at where you are in terms of your health relative to other people in your age. As active as you are and as conscious as you are eating, I suspect you are really, on the internal side, a really healthy person. And I applaud you for that, because there are a lot of people that are not doing what you're doing. I think you need to be patient. I see people get these plateaus. They lose weight, they plateau. What I would suggest is you try doing something new and different. Sometimes change the variety of activity you're doing. Right. You get stale with it. I don't know whether it's an intensity thing, whether you need to go to a higher intensity, but I think you need to start focusing on, hey, look what I've accomplished so far. Be positive. And if you worry and stress yourself on this, you really could be making some chemistry changes in your body that are going to make it difficult for you to lose the rest of that weight.
One thing I want to ask. Are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
We're here.
Oh, I also have multiple sclerosis. I've had it since 1977, and people say, I've had people tell me, how long have you had MS? Just a few months back, here in Madison, we had the Neely Bend Run. I participated in it. I did the 5K, and I did come in last, but I pushed myself, and I claim Philippians 4:13 every day. And one of the things that drug did to me is it also gave me full-blown osteoporosis, which I have also naturally reversed. The only thing I haven't gotten up to snuff is it had brought my vitamin D level down to 5. It's up to 25, but it's still not at a safe level.
Yeah.
And I try to avoid prescription medicines as much as possible, even with asthma and that type of thing. I try to do things more natural.
Hey, Rose, it's Dr. Marcum. It sounds like you're doing a great job, and we want to thank you for your testimony. And we're going to go on to our next caller, okay?
Yes,
and
sir.
we just want to thank you for joining us.
I hope you're going to bring your other book out also.
Yeah, well, it's coming out soon.
No, I mean on ebook.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's up to the publisher. But thanks, Rose.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Ron, you're on with Alan Lewis. Go ahead. Ron, you there? Ron is not ready. Okay, well, we're going to wait for a few seconds for Ron. How about Sarah? Sarah, are you ready?
Yes.
You're on with Alan Lewis.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Do you have a question or comment?
I have a question.
Fire away.
It is about underactive thyroid problem, diabetes 2, and emphysema. But my most important one is about emphysema. It makes me so tired, and I can't walk as fast as I used to, and I just get out of breath. And I want to know what can be done. I'm 85 years old, and I used to work 4 and 5 miles a day, and now I can't hardly walk 2.
Okay.
Can't get out of breath, and I want to know what could be done about that.
Okay.
So one of your problems is emphysema, which is affecting your lung function. You've lost some of the elasticity in the air cells, and so you're trapping carbon dioxide. It's not coming out of your lungs the way it's supposed to. I think you need to look in your area, your town where you live, and see if there's a pulmonary rehab program, because you need specific medical supervision. And pulmonary rehab is a great way. It's covered by Medicare, by insurance. It works on helping you learn how to breathe more efficiently with your diaphragm, how to learn how to exhale a certain way so you're not trapping air, and get you in a medically supervised program that they can progress you slowly and help you get some of that strength and endurance back that you've lost. The other thing is, as you can get moving again, as you move and use those muscles require more sugar. You'll start storing more sugar in your muscle called muscle glycogen. As you do that, you're going to see your diabetes, your type 2 diabetes, will be improved. Your blood sugar levels will get more stable. They won't be so variable, so high and so low, and maybe you can get off some of the medicines. The first step, though, is you need to investigate what hospital in your area has a pulmonary rehab program. If they are covered by insurance companies, it's a great program to teach you what to do. Even what you eat can affect your breathing. If you eat too high of a carbohydrate diet, you produce more CO2 from carbohydrates than you do from fat. So there's just so many things you could be learning. So my suggestion is go to a pulmonary rehab program and investigate what they offer. You probably will qualify, and that's the way you're going to learn to get better with your breathing.
Okay, well, is it true that when you have underactive thyroid problem, you gain so much weight, and if you don't eat, you still will gain it?
Your metabolism can slow down, and to the point where you're not burning the number of calories at rest and activity that you normally do. So really, yes, you can gain weight eating the same amount. People who cut out food and reduce their calorie intake, trying to lose weight but don't exercise, they can actually gain weight even though they eat less calories. So it has to do with your metabolism. Activity and movement. We were put on this earth to move, and we have to do everything we can to keep moving.
And Sarah, every year that we age, our metabolism slows down by about 1%. So, but I think Alan's given you some great advice. We want to also make sure you don't have a serious medical problem. So check out cardiopulmonary rehab. And thanks for calling us, Sarah, okay?
All right.
Okay. We're about ready to go, and we're going to come back after a short 2-minute break. Keep doing your exercises. We're going to come back, and afterwards, we're finally going to get to Ron. We're waiting for you, Ron. We're going to be back out on Heart of Health Live. Give us a call, 855-644-3278.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
I'm Dr. James Marcum with your medical moment. I don't know about you, but I get thirsty if I talk a lot. Well, one of the greatest needs of our body is water. Did you realize that up to 70% of our body is water? All the chemical reactions from the brain to the heart beating to the muscles moving all depend on water. It's one of the most important substances we put in our body. If we get dehydrated, many bad things happen. We can have inflammation, we can have the blood thicken, we can have blood pressure changes, we can even have our heart race. You don't want to be walking around in the desert. Hydrate yourself. How much do you need? Divide your weight in 2, that's about how many ounces. Or drink enough water till your urine comes out clean. Remember, water is one of the most important ingredients we put in ourselves every day.
To learn more about your health and discover what Dr. Marcum is doing in your area, visit heartwiseministries.org.
Have you ever heard things about God that didn't make sense? Have you ever thought that science and Scripture cannot be reconciled? Have you heard ideas about God that scare you? Or are you just tired and confused? If you want answers to complex problems, if you want a testable, evidence-based understanding of God and the world around you, an understanding in which the Bible and science harmonize to reveal the reality that God is love all the time, then Come and Reason Ministries is for you. Hi, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings, board-certified psychiatrist, and Come and Reason Ministries is dedicated to helping you learn to discern, to stimulate you to think, to help hone and refine your ability to know the right from the wrong, the healthy from the unhealthy, and teach you how to experience healing of your mind, body, and relationships here and now. If you would like an evidence-based approach to knowing God, then visit us online at comeandreason.com.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
If you want to join us on our program, give us a call, 855-644-3278. If you just join us, we're talking about treatment. treatment for the body with exercise, with movement. This actually changes your body just like a pill would, just like other types of treatment. And there's very few side effects unless you overdo it and get a little bit sore. So give us a call, 855-644-3278. Ron, it's a little bit cold here in Chattanooga. How's the weather in Arizona?
Well, last week it was 29 and today it was 80. So
Wow.
It changed.
Okay. Ron, you're on with Alan Lewis. Go ahead.
Okay, great. I'm 62. In December of 2011, I had a heart attack, no permanent damage. But the result of that was now I have 5 implanted stents. And I do hike, I go to the gym, but of course I'm a little scared of, what can I do and what can't I do? That's my question.
Hey, Ron, thanks for calling. My first question would be, did you go through cardiac rehab after you had your stents?
No.
That program is designed to help with people who are having confidence issues, like, what are my limitations? How much can I do? And if you had it more than a year ago, you probably wouldn't have insurance be able to pay for a cardiac rehab program. But I give you some guidelines. And the shortness of breath test is one of the best ways. If you get so short of breath you can't carry on a conversation, you're at an upper limit at that point of your progress. You want to be slightly below that. I know it's frustrating for some of us athletes who, we always want to push and, be, just totally short of breath and pushing it as hard as 100% as we can. But when you've had that many stents and you have that much artery disease, you've got to be a little more careful that you don't have an event as a result of a high level of activity. You can progress to a higher level activity. Will you be the world-class athlete that you might have been before? Maybe not. But life's too short, and I think it's a balancing act. You want to get fitter, you want to maintain your body weight, you want to look good, but at the same time you run the risk of having an event that could be significant. You've been fortunate so far. Your heart attack did not cause any muscle damage, which is excellent. So the second thing I would recommend is that look into the local hospital and see if they have a cardiac prevention program that you pay out of pocket, that you're going to get some education and medical supervision, and they will help you push yourself, but you're in a medical environment. And it may be a couple of months of that. We offer that here in Chattanooga. It's an out-of-pocket expense, but we teach people who have been through what you've been through, and maybe insurance won't pay for their cardiac rehab. The difference is there's no EKG monitor being worn, but you're in the hospital, on the property. You have a code team available and you build up your confidence when you're allowed to progress slowly over time and get to your goal.
Okay, well, tonight, coincidentally, I'm enrolling in CHIPS, Coronary Health Improvement Program.
Oh, that's great.
That sounds like the program for you, because it's not just the exercise component, it's the support, being around other people who are in the same position you are. I mean, you may be feeling a little down on yourself because you've been through this. You see another 62-year-old that's nowhere near the shape you're in. It kind of gives you a boost that, wow, I thought I was bad, but they're much worse than I am. It's a fraternity. It's a sorority. It's a common bond together that this relationship can develop with all these different people because you all have the same thing. You have heart disease. Well, we all have heart disease, just some have it worse than others.
Yeah.
So I would say that's a great next step, is to get involved with a support program like that. They're going to answer your questions on a daily basis that I couldn't answer on a show like this.
And Ron, I know Hans Deal personally. His program's excellent, and just keep trying to learn and keep trying to improve your health. We just want to thank you for calling this evening.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Ron.
luck.
And also, Delma called in tonight from Chattanooga, and she has a lot of issues with the spine. And I know sometimes people can't do much exercise, but one of the things before I get Delma comment on Delma, what can you do if you can't do much, is Delma, sometimes no matter what happens, sometimes we can't do the things we want to, and that's what we want to give people's hope. And one of the things you can do is there is always that relationship you have with God that can lead to healing down the road when he wants to heal you. But what are some things, other things that Delma might do if she has bad spinal issues?
Well, you know, there are some chair exercises where her back and her neck are well supported. But another thing is finding peace within yourself when you're feeling this pain and discomfort and this worry about your health. And probably one of the greatest gift that God has given us is the gift of music.
Yeah.
And calming, quiet music calms your heart. Your heart rate slows down in a way that's really important, and it helps reduce stress. So, you know, when we get to the point where we're bound to a chair, and you know, that's very stressful emotionally, and to calm your spirit, to calm your soul, can be very, very important. And that would be one of the things I'd recommend. The other is don't lose sight of having people be with you. Relationships with people are important too. So hopefully you have a good network of friends and family visiting and doing things doing things with your mind. You know, crossword puzzles and playing cards. And, you know, it would be great that if you could be up and moving like you'd like to be, but there are other things in life you could be doing to help you. So I look for a variety of things that you haven't been doing in a while.
What do you think about deep breathing for people that can't do much?
Oh, definitely. I'm learning that diaphragm muscle is a muscle.
Yeah.
And we have to learn to use it. That big C-shaped muscle has to move downward into your abdominal cavity. We have to intentionally relax our stomach and move our belly.
And almost everyone can do that.
And then we have to let it relax and push back. And we get best blood flow in the bottom of our lungs. But when we breathe from our chest muscles, we inflate the top of our lungs.
Okay.
So more air is going to the top than the bottom. But the best blood flow when we're sitting upright is in the bottom. So we need to breathe so the air goes down to the bottom of our lungs. It's very simple, but you have to practice it. You put your hands on your belly and just feel your fingers move. And it slows down your respiratory rate when you breathe like that. There's a lot of good things, but I think, you know, there's a purpose for you for being here. What a great question. Great inspiration for other people listening to this program.
And Delma, our ministry will put you up in prayer that God's going to heal you in His time. And just hang in there and keep a smile on your face. And thanks for joining us. You know, we've had a lot more questions that come in. You're watching Heart of Health Live. We're here with Alan Lewis. He's Director of Cardiopulmonary at Memorial Hospital. That's located in Chattanooga. And what I want people to think about today, Alan, is that, you know, you hear a lot about medicines and pills, that changes your chemistry, and they're good for specific one item things, but exercise affects multiple organs and entire body, often gets at the cause of numerous health problems. Exercise, and now I like to say movement, is not only a treatment for disease, but it also prevents disease.
It's interesting you brought up that question. Only maybe 3 years ago, 2010, the medical community of the United States finally said exercise is a medicine. And an article was written in the New England Journal of Medicine saying, we as physicians need to do a better job of prescribing on a prescription pad exercise or activity, because what do we normally do? We write the pill for blood pressure. Why don't we write for exercise for blood pressure? We write the pill for diabetes. Exercise for diabetes. It is the absolutely best medicine there is, and the only cost is your time.
There you go. There you go. And you know, sometimes people, though, need to be supervised when they start. So cardiac rehab programs, seeing your doc before you start an exercise program are great first steps. Wow, we have to go to break, but during the break, I'm going to practice deep breathing here. We're going to be right back with Ernestine from New York after this break. We're here with Alan Lewis. Stay with us.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Hello, I'm Dr. Tim Jennings with your Mental Health Minutes. Are you pregnant or thinking of becoming pregnant? Do you want to ensure your child will have the healthiest brain possible? Then avoid all alcohol because as little as 1 glass of wine per week alters brain development and is associated with behavior and emotion problems. Avoid smoking. Children born to mothers who smoked had higher rates of learning and behavior problems and psychotic disorders. Take omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s promote healthy brains and higher IQ. And watch out for depression. Untreated depression is associated with delayed fetal growth and altered brain development. However, antidepressants can increase miscarriage rates, contribute to smaller fetal heads, and slow growth in the newborn. If depressed, consider transcranial magnetic stimulation, the only FDA-cleared, drug-free treatment for depression with no risk to the fetus. To be smart requires a healthy brain, so be smart, do right, and make your child bright.
To learn more about mental health, visit comeandreason.com.
Hi, I'm Dr. James Marcum, speaker, director of Heartwise Ministries. And at Heartwise, our goal is to bring people into a relationship with the Heavenly Father using modern medicine and the healing principles found in the Bible. We teach people that there is a place for modern medicine and a healthy lifestyle, but it is in a relationship with their Creator where ultimate healing can occur. Over the past years, our ability to share this message of truth, love, and healing around the world has increased exponentially. But to continue this steady growth, we need your help. We are looking and praying for 100 individuals willing to give $1,000 a year. If the Spirit is moving you to become one of the Heartwise 100, won't you consider donating online today at heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
Welcome back to Heart of Health Live. We still have a few more segments left. You can join the fun, and we're having fun here learning about ways that you can be better without any side effects. 855-644-3278. Ernestine, I probably said your name wrong the first time, but you're on with Alan Lewis. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. I'm recently born and been a baby saint, and I need to stop smoking after 50 years, and I'm having a hard time with it. I told God, asked God, I couldn't do it for him to do it for me, but he's not doing it for me, so I got to do it. So I want to know, what do you think about the e-cigarettes, the electronic cigarettes? It has vapor in it or something?
Do they dispense nicotine?
It says, like, what is that, the nicotine fix? What was it? Same nicotine fix, real vapor.
Yeah, I think what they're using is using that different form of dispensing nicotine to get into your lungs without all the other chemicals that come with regular cigarette smoke. And I mean, it's kind of like the nicotine patch. It's just a substitute to get away from the cigarette smoke that's so damaging to your lungs. But here's an interesting study that was done, and you need to try this. They looked at people when they smoked a cigarette, and they put them on all of the lie detector test equipment, EKG, respiratory rate, like they would to see if somebody's lying or not. And they were looking to see the change in their stress level when they first lit up a cigarette. And they know that nicotine helps relax the brain and reduce the stress. Well, they found that these people had a reduction in their stress level before the nicotine had time to get to their brain, and they'd already taken 2 deep breaths. So that first breath, light up the cigarette, big breath. They did it twice, and they found out that the stress level dropped dramatically with those first 2 deep breaths.
Wow.
So what did they find out? It's not the nicotine. It's changing the way you breathe.
Right.
See, you have a sympathetic nervous system that stimulates and speeds you up, and we need some relaxation, so we take the cigarette. But we need to calm our body down. And when we change from this high respiratory rate that's fast and shallow to this deep breathing, there's a signal from the lungs to the brain say, hey, brain, we're slowing down. Brain goes, okay, I'll slow everything else down. The heart rate slows down. The muscle tension slows down. We start to relax. And with that breathing, there's a hormone released in your brain that makes us feel better. Mm-hmm. So one of the things I recommend you try or get into a class or program is learn how to do deep diaphragmatic breathing. Second thing is use the electronic cigarette, but don't put the chemical in it.
Yeah.
Just use it as a surrogate. Because the second thing with cigarette smoking is just that having something in your hand, bringing it to your mouth, taking it away. For 50 years, you've been in this habit. You don't break a habit overnight. Okay? I mean, you could just put a carrot stick in your hand and take that to your mouth, but you need to start doing something that comes to your mouth that won't harm you. That nicotine, it may not hurt your lungs, but it's going to hurt your heart and your blood vessels. It's a bad drug. It's a bad chemical. And so,
why I want to quit is because the Lord Jesus Christ is in there, and I'm making him uncomfortable. That's the reason why I want to quit. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't want to quit.
okay.
Well, good.
That's a good reason, but I want you to explore another reason. Think about quitting because you want to be around longer so you can see your children or your grandchildren or your friends get married, graduate from high school. You want to be around longer. I work with pulmonary patients all the time, and when women have been smoking for 50 years, 1 to 2 packs a day, the injury to their body inside is dramatic.
Hey, I'm not a heavy smoker. When I go out, I don't even smoke. I smoke when I'm at the computer. I've cut down a great deal since I tried to stop, and it's like if I'm not busy, that's when I smoke. If I'm busy, I don't smoke. So I don't know what kind of habit I have.
Look for a different activity when you get the urge to smoke, and deep breathing is one. Get up from your computer and walk around your chair 10 times and sit back down again. There is a way to you can do something and the urge will go away, and it takes 5 to 10 minutes. You need another activity to fill that gap until the urge goes away.
Yeah.
So you said to take the deep breaths?
From your diaphragm. Go on the internet, type in diaphragmatic breathing. There's some good handouts and pictures on how to do it. It really helps you get through the urge.
Yeah.
Okay, so the e-cigarettes is not an option.
The nicotine is not going to be good for you.
So there's nicotine. I know because I asked the doctor for a patch, and the doctor told me there's more nicotine in the patch than what I smoke.
Yeah, but you know what I tell people, Ernestine, is one is, of course, you're already praying about it. The second thing is gradually cut down and pick a quit date. And then when you get to the quit date, have habits that will replace the bad habits like Alan talked about, okay? And then if you start smoking again after you've cut down, don't give up. Sometimes you have to quit many times. But say, what caused me to smoke? And what habit can I do to not do that? It might be walking around the desk, going to a different room, eating a carrot stick. It might be doing something like that, reading a Bible verse. But try to replace a good habit with a bad. And eventually, if you keep trying, I'm confident that God's going to bless you to overcome this.
Yeah, that's how I feel, too. It's a matter of time.
Well, thank you for calling us.
Stick with it.
Okay. Thank you so much. God bless you and keep me in your prayers.
Okay, we will, Ernestine. You know, the next question comes from the Virgin Islands, and it's from Sandra. And she asks us, she says, what is the best way to breathe when you're doing real strenuous exercise?
That's a very good question. Especially, you see it common with people doing resistance training, lifting weights. But even when you're out in the garden digging and doing really strenuous, you have to practice a certain breathing pattern. The one thing you don't really want to do is hold your breath.
Right.
Avoid holding your breath if you can. Typically, the way to think about it is when I'm doing the exertion, pushing hard or pulling hard, whenever the exertion movement occurs, there's a lot of pressure on my abdominal cavity. That's when I exhale. So just prior to the exertion or the push, I'll take a breath in, breathe in, and then I make my push, my exertion, my heavy exertion. I push or I pull, whatever the exercise is. When I'm forcefully pushing, I want to exhale.
Okay.
And so most weight training or exertional stuff has a rhythmical pattern. So I got to match the breathing in and out with the exertion. All right. When I exert, I exhale. When I relax, I inhale.
Okay.
It's that simple.
You know, I've been doing it wrong, Alan. What I've been doing is when I can't breathe, when I'm doing strenuous exercise, I quit. I slow down. I stop. So I'm going to try that. Maybe I can go a little bit more.
Hopefully.
You know, I heard a study not too long ago that you can actually over-exercise. You know, these triathlons that exercise hours and hours and hours and hours a day. Do you think you can over-exercise?
Yeah, you definitely can over-exercise. There's significant muscle injury, significant changes in your chemistry. You know, electrolytes are involved, and as much as we try to replace them with water and electrolyte drinks, when you're talking these guys that are doing Ironmans, that's not just for the average person. And when you have significant losses of potassium and magnesium, you're going to throw off the way your your muscle cells contract, but also your heart cells. You know, that, I mean, we hear of athletes having a heart attack. They have normal coronaries, and it's an electrolyte problem that's occurred that then it causes an electrical problem, which sets them up for an abnormal rhythm. So, you know, we have to be very careful.
And I read a study that said in middle age, from 40 to 60, the triathlon people have as much risk to their heart because of this condition called oxidative stress than a person that smokes cigarettes. So if you're doing that heavy exercise, you might really want to pay attention that make sure you're not having muscle aches or dehydrated.
Moderation. Moderation is so important.
I like that movement. I'm just excited about this dance. I mean, I'm gonna go home and do some dancing tonight.
All right, good.
Turn on the radio and do some dancing. And when we go to that fancy music we have at break,
sure,
I'm gonna start dancing every time. We're almost out of time, but I think if you want to give us a call, 855-644-3278. We're learning about treating our body with exercise and movement. We hope you're learning something. I know I am. Stay with us. We have some more. We're going to be continuing our discussion with Alan Lewis.
The Heart of Health Live will return in just a moment.
I'm Dr. James Marcum, and I talk to patients every day who want to know the truth in healthcare. On our website, heartwiseministries.org, you can have your questions answered. You can read my blog where I talk about interesting and controversial subjects in medicine. You might choose to go to the radio or television sections and learn more about all sorts of health topics. Take the time and go to heartwiseministries.org. There's a place for modern medicine, but that's not enough. There's a place for lifestyle, but that's not enough. The real truth in medicine, the real truth in healing comes from that relationship with the Heavenly Father. That relationship can show us the balance, when to use modern medicine, when to use lifestyle, and to use it for the right reasons. Well, this book gives the solution to the healthcare dilemma. It answers the question, why am I sick? How do I get better? And how can I have ultimate healing?
I'd like to think that one day, when we get to heaven, we're going to see a list of people like Jared and Susan, who were introduced to Jesus because of something we said. Or maybe it was as simple as a passing smile. But these people will look into their past and be able to say, I'm here because of you. Recently, you may have heard that Heartwise Ministries has begun spreading the gospel to the young, the old, the sick, and the healthy using this very television program. But we need your help. We want to take this type of medical programming to the non-believer and the person who has closed themselves off to traditional forms of outreach. If you believe as we do and want to support Heartwise so that together we can count more names on the tree of life, please consider donating today at heartwiseministries.org. That's heartwiseministries.org.
You've got questions, we've got answers on the Heart of Health Live. Welcome back.
We are in our last segment on Heart of Health, and I'm sorry we couldn't get to everyone, but we're going to be back next time, and you can call in with your health concerns, or you can go to our website or join us on Facebook. Lots of ways to get a hold of us. Debbie, you're on with Alan Lewis. Debbie's calling from California. Debbie, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, my concern is I've gone back to school. I'm 58 years old. I'm getting my master's in nursing. And if that weren't challenge enough, I've gone and I've gained the freshman 30 instead of the freshman 15.
Okay.
And,
so your question is, what do you do about, and I understand and I applaud you for going back to school. What a great testimony for anybody at any age, we should never stop our education. But it is easy to, when we get really focused on a goal to get your master's, you can put so much energy in that and time that you neglect your health.
Right.
And you can't neglect your health. You have to, you're a little bit out of balance here. Well, the question is, do you have time for a formal exercise program? Most people don't. What I tell people is you need to look seriously, how do you put more activity in your lifestyle?
Right.
What I do personally when I have those weeks or months where I have to cut back on my exercise, I don't take the elevator. I take the stairs, right? If you're going to take the elevator down. There's less stress on your knee if you climb the stairs. The most damage occurs to your knees going down the stairs. Everybody thinks it's the opposite. Take the stairs up, take the elevator down. Park a little farther when you go to school. If it's a safe environment, park farther and walk into your classroom. If you spend a lot of time in the library, okay, get up every hour.
Online.
You're online?
Okay.
Yeah, my classes are online.
Stand up.
Sit down.
While you're online. Stand during the class instead of sitting. You burn more calories when you're standing. You have to find ways to be more active. You could be, if you're online, nobody's seeing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
You could be standing up and lifting weights while you're listening to the class online. I mean, you just have to be creative. Find a way to put movement into your daily routine when you find yourself being more sedentary. And then carve out some time specifically for some kind of specific routine, whether it's walking for 30 minutes. Do that. You will do better in school. If you stay physically fit and healthy, you will do better. You take tests better. You sleep better. It's important you keep up your level of fitness.
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, my diet, I've been vegetarian all my life. And the last 3 years, I had gone totally vegan and got off any excess weight that I could have even thought of. And I was in the best shape of my life. And then last year, when I started back to school, just within a year, I have gained that 30 pounds. And it's so depressing.
It's temporary.
So disturbing.
Convince yourself it's temporary.
Yeah, you're going to lose this. We're confident. You're going to call back a year from now saying it's all gone. I think you're on the right path. Unfortunately, we're all out of time. And Debbie from Phoenix wanted to ask about hydration. Try to drink about, if you weigh 150 pounds, about 75 ounces if you're healthy, or drink till your urine comes out clear. Those are just some guidelines to help you hydrate yourself well, especially when you're in an exercise program. We want you to join us next time on Heart of Health. Go to our website, heartwiseministries.org, or be one of our Facebook friends. Thanks for taking the time to join us.